Well, when family is important, so is space. So for the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Best Large SUV, size is what we're looking at. Our contenders take the shape of the brand new Nissan Pathfinder. We've got the updated Hyundai Santa Fe, last year's winner, the Toyota Kluger, and of course, the brand new Ford Everest. Which one of these supersized contenders has what it takes? Well, let's find out.
Drive Car of the Year is our annual culmination of testing hundreds of cars in Australia. We get them all together to see which one is the best in show. Our editorially independent testing assesses these cars inside and out, on-road and dynamically in a safe environment. For the large SUV category, our judges focused mostly on family practicality, and that includes safety, comfort and daily usability. There's details like storage and power outlets, but also cost of ownership and quality of the driving experience.
One of two brand new finalists for this category, the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Large SUV, is the Nissan Pathfinder. I'm joined again by Sam, one of the lead judges here on this category. Mate, this is a big car. It's been missing from the market for a while. We've got a lot of new stuff here, but it's not all new, is it?
Exactly. The big strength of this Pathfinder is the size of it. It can seat 8 inside there. The third row is even fairly comfortable, and it's just got a lot of space. But, as you mentioned, it's got a carryover powertrain, and it's a relatively thirsty V6 petrol. The main strength of this new Nissan Pathfinder comes from its size. It's properly spacious and comfortable overall, even with the third row offering a good amount of room and amenity for adults. There are some good storage solutions available throughout, and the seating, especially up front, is very comfortable. The driving experience of the Pathfinder is fairly refined and it's well insulated. And performance through our dynamic testing was good considering the overall size of this car. While that 3.5 litre naturally aspirated V6, which is your only option of powertrain and carries over from the previous generation model, offers good performance, it can feel a bit revvy in this application at times, and it's far from being the most efficient option in the segment. The 9-speed automatic transmission, however, which uses a torque converter, replaces a not-so-loved CVT automatic. It's an improvement and it's a good companion to this engine.
Well, now, not one of the biggest cars here, but it still is a pretty impressive contender. The Hyundai Santa Fe, it's had a few tweaks for 2023, but now answers one of the biggest questions on buyers' lips. You can get this as a hybrid.
Exactly. It now competes with something like a Toyota Kluger more directly, and it is one of the more car-like cars to drive. It's a little bit lower, a little bit wider in terms of the driving dynamics, but it's definitely not as spacious as the others in this category. The Hyundai Santa Fe is something of a quiet achiever in the large SUV segment, undergoing a recent overhaul under the skin that brought new technology and more efficient powertrains to this 7-seat SUV. It's certainly not the biggest of its kind, and the third row of the Santa Fe feels the tightest of the 4 finalists in this segment. However, there are benefits to be had here with the size. The Santa Fe performed well with judges through the dynamic testing regime, as well as the road test loops with impressively car-like characteristics. There's a new hybrid petrol powertrain available for the Santa Fe, which might not be as impressive as the Kluger's hybrid powertrain overall, but it is still a good option for keeping those running costs down. And while the amount of interior space isn't at the top of the segment, judges continue to be impressed with the quality of fit-out and layout of the Santa Fe inside. There are generous servings of power outlets and storage solutions, especially in the higher specification grades.
Well, here now we have the current reigning champ of this category, the Toyota Kluger in hybrid form. Percy, this car doesn't really do anything wrong, does it?
No, it fits the bill for a lot of Australian families, and you can see why it sells so many. It's so cheap to run, but it is a bit expensive to buy, especially in those higher grades, and some elements do feel slightly dated. The reigning champion Toyota Kluger still scores big points where it counts: comfort, space, and a low cost of operation overall. Along with having a frugal hybrid powertrain, this Toyota Kluger is one of the cheapest to service during its initial warranty period. The interior is comfortable and practical with smart and capacious storage all the way through, and that hybrid powertrain blends both petrol and electric power for a smooth and seamless driving experience. You can certainly buy some newer models these days with more tech and a flashier interior presentation, but the Kluger still remains as solid a choice as ever for the large family.
Well, Perth's fourth and final finalist here today is the other all-new car, the new Ford Everest. Lots to like here, developed in Australia. What do we think?
The Australian flavour works really well, I think. There's a lot of safety, there's a lot of technology, even in this base spec Ambiente. But the bad thing is, in this company anyway, a ladder frame four-wheel drive can't really keep up exactly with the dynamics and the ride quality and that sort of thing. Special mention must go to the Ford Everest for being the only large SUV in this company with proper off-road and towing capabilities. If you've got a taste for adventure, then this Ford Everest is probably going to be your pick. It's comfortable and smartly designed inside, with a good dash of durability and functionality that works for family buyers. Technology is a particular strong point as well for this new Everest. Considering things like a live rear axle, larger all-terrain tyres, a high ride height and steel ladder chassis, the ride quality and comfort of this Ford Everest is impressive, although it still does lag behind the car-based competitors like the Hyundai Santa Fe and Toyota Kluger. However, this Everest does come with proper off-road capability, provided that you choose a four-wheel drive variant, and it also comes with a 3.5 tonne brake-to-towing capacity and good payload figures. Power starts with a 2-litre twin-turbo 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine, or you can go up to a 3-litre single-turbo V6 diesel, and both of those run through a 10-speed automatic gearbox. Braking performance was dominated in this segment by the Hyundai Santa Fe, which logged 35.2 metres from 100 km an hour to 0. The rest were just above 40 metres, with the Ford Everest getting 42.9 metres, and that's the worst figure out of these four. Straight line performance was close, with the Toyota, Nissan and Hyundai all getting in the mid to low 8 seconds mark. The taller and heavier Ford Everest was 10 seconds with the 2-litre bi-turbo engine. Opting for a V6 would likely trim this figure down quite a bit.
Well, a lot of great options for family car buyers here, but the 2023 Drive Car of the Year Best Large SUV for the second year running is the Toyota Kluger.
The Toyota Kluger scored well across the board in this test and was able to fend off the newcomer Nissan Pathfinder quite comfortably, and that's thanks mostly to that more efficient powertrain option. The Hyundai Santa Fe came third overall, with the Ford Everest rounding out the group.
While every car in this class is roomy, the Toyota Kluger Hybrid has a few extra aces up its sleeve. It uses half the fuel of its competitors, has the lowest running costs, and has great quality to boot.
It's mostly about, for me, the efficiency of the hybrid, the way it drives. It's nice and smooth, but it's also very cheap to run overall. But the other thing about the Kluger, I think, is the interior. It's spacious. The third row is even decent for adults, which you can't say for all large SUVs. And I do like the amount of storage that you've got available. That center console is really big. You've got the storage shelves on the front of the dashboard there. There are cup holders just about everywhere. It's well set up for family usage on everyday stuff. And I think that's really important.
Toyota really understands what's important to family buyers and drivers. If you look at the front of the Kluger here, there is so many places to store things. You've got shelves, you've got cup holders, you've got 3 USB ports, a 12 volt, another 12 volt. So many options to live in this car and use it as a piece of practical family transport. Now, it's a bit of fun to show you one of the coolest pieces of storage in the cabin of the Kluger is this center console. Now, normally we'll say car's got a center console, reasonable storage, but check out how deep and how far back this one goes. You can basically get your arm in up to the shoulder. It is so deep. Just don't lose anything in there. But in terms of how the Kluger is laid out, the one thing that could be improved is the Toyota infotainment system. It's still a little basic to use, although it does have support for Apple CarPlay, which is often the best way to use it. So what's the big reason that a Kluger is so popular with family buyers? The big reason, it is enormous in here. There is so much space. This center bench can flip, it can slide. You've got a 40-60 split, so you can move this one closer and have this one further back. You can even recline it, so there's a bit of comfort for all passengers. In high-grade cars, you get your own temperature controls here. There are USB points, roof-mounted vents, so it really is a very, very spacious and comfortable family transport option. A couple of great things about the boot on the Kluger. First of all, the hatch opens really wide, so if you're tall like me, you can still stand underneath it. Here, with all seats in play, you've got 241 litres of space, and under here, there is still some storage, even with the cargo blind and tools in place. Folding the third row is nice and easy. Just flip up this. Now you watch the headrest gets out of the way at the last second, and it folds flat. You go to 552 litres when you fold down the third row, and up to 1150 litres when you fold everything flat. But to hear what the Kluger's like on the road, Let's go see what Sam thinks.
The Toyota Kluger is a very fit-for-purpose vehicle. When you look at a large SUV that's going to be driving around town and doing it in an efficient manner, this hybrid powertrain, we all know about how well Toyota does hybrids, and this Kluger is no different. It's smooth and it's efficient. It jumps between electric and petrol power all the time, but the important thing is it does it quite seamlessly. You don't tend to notice through the pedal or through the feel of the car that it's doing all of these different things. And all you have to worry about is when the fuel gets low, you fill it up and you keep going. But importantly, it uses a lot less fuel than other large SUVs, especially petrol powered ones. In our test driving loops and the dynamic testing we do, things like swerve and avoid and the brake testing, let's be honest, all of the large SUVs aren't exactly amazing in that regard. They're all big, they've all got a relatively high center of gravity. They're not going to perform like a hot hatch or anything. But in saying that, this Toyota Kluger was nice and comfortable, but it was also controllable and predictable when you did have to start to swerve and try and dodge things. There wasn't anything too untoward going on in terms of how the car loaded up different wheels and parts of the suspension. So from a safety point of view, that is pretty good. Along with being easy to drive, other things like air conditioning and infotainment controls all fall to hand quite easily. You've got a nice array of buttons there. It's not too tricky to get into all the different modes and functions, and that is important when you're driving around. And I think that sums up why this Toyota Kluger won, for the second year running, Drive Car of the Year in the best large SUV category. It just does the job really nicely. It's got a lot of fit for purpose elements going on. It's cheap to run and it's cheap to maintain, and it's comfortable and practical and easy to live with. If you want to see more of Drive's comprehensive on-road and off-road testing, check out our video reviews on YouTube or at Drive.com.au. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our future automotive content.